the last 4 to 5 years between, Frost and now Malzahn, and here as well. Does this rivalry still have the juice even with as many coaching changes as these two sides?
Really, rivalries aren't about the coaches. It's about the players, right? The players went to high school together. They played each other. They were rivals in high school together. They see each other all the time. So really, to me, that's what rivalries, it's more about the players than it is the coaches. Obviously, the coaches is very competitive for us. But you're right. I mean, now coaches move and go. But those players have been, we got some seniors playing their last game. They've been here 4 or 5 years and been a part of this. So this is an important game for them to go out with a win.
When you look at Gus back to high school in Arkansas, he's always had the reputation of a guy that does things a little differently, wide open offenses. When you prepare for him and his staff, is it kind of, you're not sure what you're going to get here?
Yeah, they do a lot of things, and when you play somebody that does a lot of things and you play them late in the year, in the last game of the season, you got a lot of video. So at the end of the day, you can't, the old saying about, the person that tries to defend everything defends nothing, right? So we have 3 practices. There's no way you draw up every play that they ran this year. What you have to look for is tendencies, look for kind of what their bread and butter, what do they like to do. But yeah, he does the same thing. He looks at tendencies on us, so that's why it's going to be really important for our defensive staff. We have a good opportunity this week with some new guys being in charge of it to change some things up, because he definitely likes to know what you're going to be in and what you've done in the past. So I imagine that the first quarter will be a little bit of cat and mouse back and forth, trying to figure out what each person's going to do. Same thing for us offensively, maybe having a few different things than we've done. And sometimes every game's important, but I think good coaches always hold some things maybe in their back pocket for that last one, unless you have to have it. So things you've been practicing throughout the week, throughout the season, but unless you really have to have it in games, you may kind of save it. And now it all kind of comes up. Well, there's no tomorrow. We're not saving it for the spring game or spring practice. So now you have those bullets you've been practicing. So there's a lot of that. So I think the first quarter, first half is always kind of a feeling out process, and I think this one will definitely be that way.
I was going to ask if you just answered the question of the feeling out process. To say how much of this week is about the team having fun, just go out and have a blast, and maybe we'll throw caution at the wind, reach to the deep recesses.
I'm hoping we're going to be in a situation where we're going into this game and need to win it to be able to go to our conference championship game. I'm hoping we get to that point at some point, and I feel like we will down the road. But right now, this is it. There is no tomorrow. And really, for this team, these seniors, it's going to be, and really just the way that college football is, there's going to be a lot of movement on your roster and staff, and it's just. So you got to really just enjoy that team. In the 2021 South Florida Bulls, this will be the last week that we get to be together, and last game that we get to play together. And so absolutely, that's part of it. And ultimately, it's a lot more fun when you're doing well, and playing well, and scoring points, and holding them out, and winning. So it's kind of a balance of, hey, we're going to have some fun. We had some fun today at practice with some things that we did. But ultimately, the fun on Friday is going to come from being able to execute and play a clean game. But yes, that's definitely part of it, and enjoying every last day that we have together with this team.
You mentioned you might go to some different areas of the playbook. You haven't gone much. Does that include kind of ramping up the pressure on the quarterback a little bit?
Yeah, so it would do absolutely no good to go through with what we're going to do, other than say that we're going to do some new things. There's no, I'm sure there's plenty of people watching want to know exactly. And again, at the end of the day, there's certain things that you can change up in certain moments. Maybe on a third down play, normally you do this, and sometimes against unbalanced, you do this. Now you're going to do this. So there's a little bit of that, but unless you've been watching extremely close, the average fan's not going to be able to see some huge difference from a scheme standpoint, because you do have to stay within the verbiage and the overall structure. But maybe what calls you call and when you call it and all that, you can have some freedom to be able to do that.
Is the play sequencing piece of it, maybe not the exact plays you call, but the order those calls are played, does that play into it?
I think it's I don't know if it's the sequencing like first, second, third, but I think it's like in the critical situations. I mean, these games are all about third down, right? So what are you doing on third down? What's been your typical coverage on third down? What's been your typical blitz or your typical stun or movement? it's changing some of those things up, because same thing, they can't prepare for everything. You got to kind of prepare for what you've seen, what you know. So it's a little bit of that. What do you do in the red zone? What do you do when you're inside the 5-yard line? What coverage do you play? What front do you play? What's your top blitz? It's all those things that I think really the change comes. But yeah, I mean, I think to us there's a little bit of advantage for our guys maybe being able to change some things up, and just having some new people that are kind of calling things. You may get into some different looks than you've been.
I know you have a game to play. You're not in full evaluation mode yet, but when you look at your 2 seasons, is the inability to get more pressure on the quarterback job one in terms of improvement?
Yeah, I think that's going to come. That's definitely one thing that is a priority as I kind of look at the new scheme that we'll be running in the future. And obviously, we got a lot of D linemen that are leaving, and we've got a lot of guys that are coming in, and so you kind of have that in your mind as you're recruiting the guys that are coming in, and then also from a scheme standpoint, what we need to do. I mean, at the end of the day, me being in this league for 2 years and kind of seeing, what people do, seeing, what people do on offense, what they do on defense, and also kind of getting to know our roster and our team where we are. I think I'm definitely going to be in a better position as I go through this process of kind of figuring out what scheme that we want to run here and what we need to do to be successful. But I'm not going to go over that right now.
Yeah. Timmy's game and Timmy's season,
yeah.
So the ebbs and flows, and
yeah.
Obviously it was a down cycle last week. What happened, and what do you think overall where Timmy is?
Yeah, I'm not giving Timmy away. We love Timmy. I think last week what happened, obviously through the interception there in the second series, and that kind of bothers a young quarterback. And then the way the game went, we got behind so quickly that we ended up having to throw it, and that really wasn't our game plan going in because they were really athletic in the secondary. Weaver was out, so we really wanted to be able to stay on schedule and run the ball. And whenever you get behind and you have to throw it, they know you have to throw it, then they get to do some different things up front, kind of pin their ears back and just come. And we're not in a position right now offensively where we can be as successful there. And so it was not the game plan that we wanted. But overall, it kind of goes back to what I was talking about the defense. Have I seen progress out of him overall and see a lot of future and hope? Absolutely. And it's just kind of a bad day. He was just one of about 100 people that had a bad day on Saturday.
How did he handle it?
Yeah, well, all I can do is see how he responds and shows up and goes to work and goes back to practice and all that stuff. And he's got good energy and he's come back. And that's part of being a freshman quarterback. It's just kind of going through. It's not always going to be easy. Most of the time it's not. There is some success, but then there's some difficulty. And as a coach, it's kind of like as a I got young kids. Savannah's 6 and Hunter's 1. And you kind of see Hunter's over there wanting to walk on the couch, and you want to kind of get behind him and tell him not to walk on the couch. Eventually, you got to let him just kind of stumble a little bit and figure out that's probably not a good idea. It's the same way with a coach with a freshman quarterback. You can't just completely protect them in all situations. You got to let them go play, let them have success. They fail. They got to kind of feel that and come back. But what you want to see is how do they respond and come back. And what I saw again, middle of the year when he kind of got banged up, wasn't great. Had a week to kind of come back. He responded well, played well for several weeks, and I expect him to respond and play well this Friday.
Any injury updates, Jeff?
No. We expect to get Weaver back, so that's probably the best news there of the week. He's practiced through 2 days, and that was part of the deal too last week. He probably could have done some things, but there was a concern that if he went out there and aggravated it, that he'd be out this week, and we just felt it was best to hold him and try to get him as close to 100% because we knew this week for sure we were going to need him.
What will happen on Thursday in terms of Thanksgiving and what you're doing as a team?
Yeah, that morning we'll do our normal, really what we typically do on Fridays, we'll do in the morning. So we'll come in, we'll have meetings, we'll do walkthrough, and we'll get on the bus, we'll head to Orlando, and then we'll have a Thanksgiving dinner at about 5 o'clock Thursday evening. And then after that, have some more meetings and hopefully keep everybody awake there after all the turkey. But yeah, we will take some time Thursday evening for our dinner, and then the non-travel guys will be able to go home tomorrow and be home for Thanksgiving, and then meet us over at the game on Friday.
Have you ever broken your leg while coaching?
No, but I have had a scary incident where I knocked my shoulder out. I got knocked down one time, and I was responsible for, back then when I was at Clemson, I was responsible for lining up the punt return, right? So like on third down, when defense is out there and it's third down, you get the punt return, you walk down there 40 yards from the deal, so you have them ready. And so we were on defense, we were at North Carolina, and playing at North Carolina, this has been years ago, maybe 2010 or 11. And I wasn't watching and got hit and knocked down, my shoulder was out, and that was right after that third down play. And so I just remember coaches gave me a hard time because I got on the headset while I was laying down on the ground saying, I'm down, I'm down. And what I was trying to tell them was, somebody get up and line up the punt returner. And, they thought it was like, I'm in combat or something, I'm down. So that story got back to my wife, and she reminded me of that a couple of times. But yeah, you got to watch yourself. Being a Coach Bowden, his rule was whenever you were 7 years old, you could be on the sidelines at Florida State. So ever since I was 7, and Coach Bowden's highway patrolman, I think his name was Mr. Billy Smith, I would stand with him for about my first 4 years. He would kind of have his hands on my shoulders every time we get near the ball. The ball would get near us. But it will sneak up on you because you're talking, communicating, and doing those things. So it's something that I definitely have to watch. Oh yeah, that's the one time the shoulder got knocked out, and luckily they got somebody lined up the punt return for me.
What are you most thankful for?
Oh man, number one, my family, definitely, and then I'm thankful for this opportunity, really, to be here. I know it's been a challenge, and definitely not maybe what I expected, especially maybe in the second year, and kind of how you have it in your mind going out. But I've definitely grown a lot as a coach. I think at Clemson, especially the last couple of years, that we were there, it was just kind of rolling. You really just felt like you just show up, and it just kind of takes care of itself because we had it rolling. And whenever I was ready to leave, I was ready for a challenge. Be careful what you ask for, and you get challenged. And so even though the days are long, but the years are short, and I really appreciate this opportunity. I appreciate our team for continuing to show up and continue to play and believing in myself. I appreciate our administration and Michael Kelly and all the guys and ladies, board of trustees, just the support that they've given me during some of my most difficult years coaching is something that I know is very rare in this profession. And I've told them I'm going to remember that here in a couple of years when we're winning at a high level, and maybe I have some opportunities. I'm a person that wants to be loyal to people that are loyal to you, especially in your most difficult times. So I'm thankful for them, and really I'm thankful for the opportunity to coach. And this is something I don't take for granted. And just to be able to line up with a group of guys that can go out and play and lead a program is something I've looked forward to. And I'm very excited and looking forward to this challenge Friday and for what's going to be ahead of us here the next couple of years. All right. I appreciate y'all being here.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.